Austin Harnick is our next guest on the Beyond the Flags podcast, hailing out of Clare, Michigan. The pilot of the Friesen Performance IMCA Modified number 15 tells us about his story from a multi-generational family of racers to his start in 4 cylinders and climbing all the way up into the modified division. Had a great outing at the 2025 IMCA TV Clash on the Coast, and he's here to talk about it, as well as a splendid 2024 campaign. That's coming up next. But before we get to the interview, make sure wherever you're listening or watching from, you hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes. Well, joining us next for the Beyond the Flags podcast, a first representative of this state of Michigan, from Clare, Michigan, to be specific. It is Austin Harnick. Austin, great to have you on board, and it was really great meeting you during the Clash on the Coast a couple weeks ago, and really looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, let's get talking. 2025 hasn't been that bad of a season for you already. IMCA TV Clash on the Coast, couple wins, swept the 2 legs at Northwest Florida Speedway, and the rest of the week went okay as well. That's got to feel like a good pulse with this upcoming season in your native Michigan.
Yeah, for sure, man. Honestly, going down, our goals were to make the show run top 10. If we could pick off a couple top 5s, I was going to be more than happy with that. And then obviously that first night we were able to draw the pin or whatnot for the feature, and that set us up really good. And we're a little tight there, but we worked on it for Tuesday night, and we were a lot better. We were able to come from 8th there, and then we had that off day, and that was real nice. And then we went and tested on Thursday there, and we weren't very good testing, and then we set the car. We tried everything and just couldn't get no better, And then we went and ran Friday night, and we struggled early on the night. And the guys at Penske came down after the heat race, and they helped us out tremendously. We were a lot better for Deep South after the heat race. We started so deep on Friday night, so it's kind of hard to get through there, just the way the track state was and stuff. And then I think Saturday night showed what we really could do. We were able to come from deep in that heat race, and then I think we ended up 5th there on Saturday night feature.
Well, and you told me in Victory Lane on Monday that you guys, you knew about Clash on the Coast, but this was your first time going down to Florida and obviously Alabama, and that's correct?
Yep. So the first 2 years I actually went down with my buddy Chase. I helped him, did some tires for him. He's ran it all 3 years, and that was my first year running it.
And obviously, different type of material, different type of configurations as far as the 2 racetracks, Deep South and Northwest Florida, are compared to some of the joints that you race at up in the Midwest.
Yep. Yeah. I haven't really been on anything that sandy or that red clay or anything like that, but our Diamond by Ryan Thomas and Colin Thirlby and them, I think it just seems to hook up on anything we go on, and they got them cars figured out.
Well, last year was a really good year for you. Won the track championship at Merritt Speedway, and won, and correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest race in the state of Michigan when it comes to Friesen Performance IMCA Modifieds, the Great Lake Nationals at Crystal Motor Speedway last fall. 2024, just kind of picking up from some of those successes into 2025.
Yeah, man, like I said last year, it was a really incredible season, to be honest with you. I didn't even know if I was going to be racing at all. I was in a late model before that, and we rolled that and pretty much totaled our whole operation. And then the Thurlby family gave me an opportunity, and luckily we were able to capitalize on it, and it seemed to really pay off.
And how was that adjustment like going from a late model to an IMCA modified? Were there certain characteristics that were similar, or was there a pretty big learning curve?
Well, before the late model, I actually had a couple of years in the IMCA class. Had a Longhorn back then, and then running that late model and going back to the IMCA deal. There was definitely some. I had to slow my pace way back down. Obviously, the cars are a lot slower and the tires are a lot harder. So just relearning how to drive it and keeping smooth and keeping myself calm in the car.
Well, and as noted, the Great Lake Nationals, that's an event that's been around for a long time. It's a good payday, but I think more than the pay is it's pretty prestigious. There's been notable drivers that have had a lot of success in the state of Michigan that have won it. And Michigan itself is definitely one of the crown jewels of the DeVilbiss Racing Eastern region. When you got Myron DeYoung, AJ Ward, obviously yourself, the Vandermark family, Matt Saturday. I mean, there's some tough cats that have come out of that part of the country.
Yeah, that was really cool to be able to put my names with some of them guys that have all won that race, like Myron and them, and it's crazy to think about, to be honest with you. It's kind of me and my family kind of started at the bottom and worked our way up. So just when we run good and stuff like that, it really makes you think about like where you started at.
Well, and that's something I'd be interested in knowing about. How did this kind of get started for you? Was it you're just a fan, or your family were fans, or are you a multi-generation racer?
Yeah, we're multi-generation. My grandpa raced back in the day, and then my dad did, and then we were actually kind of out of it for 8 or 9 years, and then my brother got back into it. So I was about 9 at the time, 8 at the time, and we ran go-karts for a couple of years, and 4-cylinder, and then that's when I got into the IMCA stuff, and then to late model, and then back to IMCA.
Well, we were talking about the comparisons from the late model to the IMCA modified. No doubt a huge difference with a 4-cylinder going into an IMCA modified.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of nice. So we got a few tracks around here that have smaller fields of cars, and I had a lot of laps around just in the 4-cylinder, and I've always gone to them tracks. So it was kind of nice starting out to be able to learn on that, where there wasn't a bunch of field of cars, so we weren't wadding stuff every night, stuff like that.
And what year was that about when you started getting in the mod rings?
I want to say around 2016, around that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
that was we ran. It's called B mod around here, and then I didn't really get into IMC stuff till later on. But
okay. And I was gonna say, obviously, Michigan, talking about it, representing it well. Both you and Mike Vandermark Jr. representing it well at the Clash on the Coast, and that's got to make you feel proud. And gosh, I was talking to one of the guys with the IMCT production crew. I was really impressed with the huge contingent of Michigan drivers making the trip down, and that's super cool because they're kind of getting out of your guys' normal neck of the woods and exposing folks that are watching on IMCA TV some of the great drivers that are up in that part of the country.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's when we left, I think it was 10 degrees here, something about a foot and a half of snow. So it's always nice to get down to Florida, and if you can do some racing on vacation, you can't beat that. But no, Peyton does a real good job, and a lot of people talk about it around here. So I was actually pretty excited to see all them guys go down too.
Are there any plans in the future of maybe hitting some stuff in the other side of the Mississippi, IMCA Speed Week in early August, or the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's, or maybe try and travel around to some different parts that IMCA has to offer for IMCA modified action?
Yeah, we're thinking about it. We're definitely thinking about Super Nats. I went there, I think 2021 or something. We didn't run too hot, but that was our first year going. Kind of got a notebook now, but what it's kind of like. But as far as that, we kind of go week by week. I know last year we went to 141 for the Clash on the Creek deal, and we'll just see how the season's going. If things are still rolling, then maybe we'll head out there.
Obviously, family's a big part of the racing operation, and between you and Chase Rosebrew, it seemed like between your guys' families just had a heck of a time in Florida for a little over a week.
Yeah, it was awesome. The Rosebrews, Papa Todd, that's what we call his dad or whatnot. He helps me out a bunch on my racing deal, just sponsor and all that stuff. And Chase and all them, we work really good on setups and all that stuff. Work together all year round, and they do a lot for me.
What was it? Some of the cool stuff that you guys ended up doing on your off days, or was it kind of just doing maintenance with a fine-tooth comb?
No, we decided after them first 2 nights we weren't even going to unload the cars. That was actually my girlfriend's 21st birthday, so we ended up hitting Florida Bama, and then we went out to dinner on the ocean.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, and I really got to commend, Peyton. It's one of those deals where we're racing, right? That's the nature of the business, why we're there. But at the same time, it's almost as important, or at least for him, to make sure, hey, are you having a good time? Mm-hmm. Do you need any suggestions of things to do? And that's kind of cool because, you've been to Super Nationals, and that's an all work, lock in. It's a long week. It's all business kind of thing. And that's not to say that you can't have fun there, but, you're there to win and compete. And, there's some other stuff where, tours where it's one race after the other, or even in the weekly stuff, you kind of lose sight of sort of that rest and relaxation period. And the way they have it set up is, I think, really cool. It's unique, but it's super cool because you get to relax. You get to go to the beach. You get to go, like you said, you get to go out on the water versus just racetrack, hotel, in the shop, hotel kind of deal.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoy that. I mean, yeah, it's cool racing and stuff every day like that. But like you said, the relaxation, you're on vacation, it's warm weather, all that stuff. And Peyton puts on a hell of a job. He makes sure everyone's having a good time. And when it's time to race, he's ready for it with the show. So I really enjoyed it, and I think we're looking forward to going back next year.
Are you looking to find that adrenaline rush, but you can't because you're not at the racetrack? Well, check out the IMCA TV Replay subscription library to have access to thousands of hours of racing for just $24.99 a month. Relive all the moments of the Speedway Motors IMCA Super Nationals fueled by Casey's at Boone Speedway, the Harris Clash at Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota, the IMCA TV Winter Nationals at Cocopah Speedway in Somerton, Arizona, Florida's Clash on the Coast, and dozens of Speedway Motors IMCA weekly racing program racetracks from across the nation, as well as the IMCA TV Dirtcast podcast. Plus, 25% of that $24.99 monthly fee goes towards the Drivers Point Fund and is a great way to help out your local racers. In 2023, over $97,000 was paid out to IMCA drivers directly at over 50 racetracks across the country. Please note that live broadcasts are not part of a replay subscription. That's IMCA TV. IMCA TV, where America comes to watch racing. So you sport the number 15. Is that any sort of significance to you in your past, or is that something that was randomly chose for you?
Well, just kind of randomly chose.
Okay, wasn't sure if it was like an old sports number or if it's what came on the car.
No, I've always been 15 since I played sports in high school and stuff, in middle school. But I don't know if it's my first number when I got a jersey or something back then. But I've always just stuck with it.
Yeah. Clare, Michigan, where you're from. For people that haven't been in that part of the country, what are some interesting things, points of interest to visit or to see, or even if there's some good restaurants? Maybe not specifically in Clare, but maybe the neighboring areas. I mean, it seems like it's a decent part of the state of Michigan.
Yeah, you can. There ain't too much to do around here, but the further north you go, especially in the summer, it's real scenic and stuff like that. You can go up the Mac and all that. That's pretty cool. Go to the bridge, and then even if you come in the winter, you go further north you go, you can go snowmobiling, skiing, snowboarding, all that kind of stuff.
It really seems like it's a part of the country where you got some pretty differing contrasts, where it's cold and it's snowy in the wintertime, but it's gorgeous and warm in the warmer months.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I don't really like the cold, so
Sure.
but yeah, it's cool. I mean, you definitely see. I mean, there's people down south that have never seen snow before, what it's like, or snowmobiling or anything like that. So it's cool to be able to experience all that. But yeah, in the summer, I really enjoy it. It's all scenic, and yeah.
Well, have you developed any sort of hobbies outside of racing, or is it pretty much go to work, spend some time with the girlfriend, and then get as much work done in the shop, or is there some lay back time of some things that you like to enjoy?
Yeah, for the most part, we that's all we do is work, and then go work on race cars. And Kenzie, she comes out in the shop a lot and helps me and stuff like that with my dad. And then when we get an off day or off weekend, sometimes we go fishing or golfing. That's about it, though.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was gonna say you can probably do fishing kind of all times of the year, because they have ice fishing in Michigan, right?
Yep, they do. We don't do much ice fishing though, but
yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend going golfing in the wintertime. So
no.
unless it's one of those warm, blue moon winters where it's nice and balmy.
Yeah.
So obviously, you've got some wonderful people in your corner helping you out. I know that you mentioned them, but you're more than welcome to mention them again. Folks or even sponsors and marketing partners you'd like to thank, because obviously without them, it'd be tough. In fact, I think it's bold to say it'd be impossible to go to Florida, to go to some of the places that you've went without that support, whether it's putting hands on the race car or helping you with the racing budget.
Yeah, that's for sure. It definitely takes a lot of people to keep this thing going. It's just getting so expensive now and everything else. But I definitely got to, first and foremost, I got to thank my mom and dad. They've sacrificed a lot for me over the last 13, 14 years or whatnot. And my girlfriend, Kenzie, Diamond Race Cars by CTR. You got Colin, Brian, Chase, Matt, all them guys. Todd Rosebrew Trucking, Rosebrew Farms, Friesen Performance, Grandma and Grandpa, Schaefer's Racing Oil, Racer Speed Shop, SLS Electric, Prime FX, Dirt Stars, Penske Shocks. They done a lot for me in Florida there with Andrew and John, Bassett Racing Wheels, and I think that's about it.
Awesome. For folks that want to keep up with you as far as your racing schedule or results or any sort of thing like that, is there a good website or a social media page that you guys got going right now so that people can keep track of you?
Yeah, we got Austin Harnick Racing on Facebook. This last year we didn't really keep up on it much, but we plan on getting it going again, and should have some merch and stuff on there here soon.
Awesome. And folks can, I assume, online orders or just meet you at the racetrack?
Yeah, they can online order. We can ship. Also, you can meet us at the racetrack, whatever works best.
Perfect. Well, Austin, it's been great to know more of your story. Obviously, it was a pleasure meeting you and seeing the success that you were able to accomplish a couple weeks ago, especially at Northwest Florida Speedway. It's a great way to start the year off, and hopefully 2025 continues to be a good trend for you and maybe bump into you in the Midwest sometime this summer.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I also just want to say I want to give a shout out to Peyton Taylor and all that guys for putting that deal on. It's really cool and fun to go down there. It's always a good time, and hopefully it just keeps getting bigger and better every year.
We do too. We really appreciate the support of you, your friends, and your family, and for everybody that watched on IMCA TV. Perhaps they weren't there, but they got a chance to see the action. And yeah, I greatly appreciate you taking the time and everything, and look forward to seeing how everything unfolds for this for the rest of the 2025 season.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Well, race fans, that does it for this interview. We hope you enjoyed it. And we hope that you continue to enjoy these upcoming interviews. We appreciate it if you would like and subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever it's at. Give us a like and give us a subscription so that we can deliver more of these great interviews to you for your listening pleasure. In the meantime, wherever we're at, wherever you're listening, we hope you have a great rest of your day and a pleasant evening, and we will see you soon here at Highside Racing Promotions.